Good afternoon, Kimberly Panthers. This is Mr. Sally welcoming you to another edition of my weekly Friday Bulletin. It is Good Friday, April the 19th, 2019. I am blessed to be the principal here at Kimberly Elementary School, where we strive to build hope in action, belief in action, success in action. Please stay tuned for a couple of announcements, all geared toward our school goals of increasing better readers, making better mathematicians, and creating a better school culture. So I always begin with a few discipline updates. My most important discipline update is parents. Please remind your boys and girls that though it is warm outside, even though it was rainy today, we've been having some great weather and it's making our kids a little antsy. They must stay focused on education. We must make it through an entire school day without any incident, so that way our boys and girls will be successful as they get ready for milestone. So please remind them to be focused when they get in classroom, pay attention to the teacher, and ignore any distractions. They don't have to respond every time one of their classmates looks at them funny, says something to them out of the way, or says something that might make them feel a little bit uncomfortable. Their response needs to be talking to the adult and letting the adult handle it. So if you could please remind them of that our first response is never to hit, never to scream, never to chase. Our first response is to report it to the adult and let the adult deal with it. Do want to continue reminding you that as we are wrapping up this school year, please refrain from scheduling doctor's appointments that will interfere with the school day when at all possible. Our last checkout time for any early dismissals is 2 p.m., but please be mindful that we still have 30 minutes left of school. So when you check your boy and girl out early at 2 o'clock, understand that they are missing some important instruction that takes place those last 30 minutes of class. Some of our boys and girls are in music, some of them are in reading, some of them are in math, some are in social studies, some are in science. Whatever class they're in, it's important, and they need to be there for the entire class time. Please again continue to remind your boys and girls about cell phones. If cell phones are taken, they're only returned to the parent once. After that, they are kept until the end of the school year. This past week we had a lot of things going on, a lot of field trips taking place. Of course, it's springtime. Many of our teachers are planning a lot of these field trips. The aquarium has been the hot spot for the last couple of weeks. And so this week we actually had second and third grade take a trip to the aquarium this past week. We had the Atlanta Fulton County Library actually come and visit us on the 18th. And like we do every year, we reach out to our local daycares. And our Kids Time Daycare, they came to visit us to give those young boys and girls an opportunity to visit our school and see what kindergarten will be like. So I want to say thank you publicly to Kids Time Daycare for coming out to Kimberly Elementary School and being a regular visitor during our kindergarten roundup. Our boys and girls are still taking STAR tests. That will conclude on April the 30th. So please ask your son or daughter, how did you do on your STAR reading test? How did you do on your STAR math test? I was speaking to some 5th graders today that were overly excited about scoring at the 6th and 7th grade range in mathematics. So that is an exceptional accomplishment, and all the accolades go to you parents as well as to our teachers, and most importantly to our boys and girls who are working their very hardest. Our book fair preview day was today, this morning from 8 until 12. I'm not certain how many of you sent money with your student, but please know that the book fair will be open next week for them to make purchases. So please say yes to that money. Our 5th graders had their annual trip to Camp Forts and 4-H. We took about 40 5th grade boys and girls to that trip, and they had a wonderful time. We had activities that were like canoeing, zip lining, rock and wall climbing, a reptile class, a farm to table class, and s'mores. They had a fabulous time. When the teachers came back, they said that this trip was even better than last year because our boys and girls knew what to expect and were behaving appropriately. We did have a little incident where we had to bring somebody home. I always remind our boys and girls that if you act up on a field trip, someone will come and pick you up and take you home. But outside of that, it was a great trip, and we look forward to doing it again next year. Our debate team today had their final debate in which they were very successful, so we want to congratulate them. Oh, I had the trophy here on my desk, but it's already put away in the trophy cabinet because I could have shown you the trophy that our debate team won today. Looking at next week and things that are coming up, again, I already mentioned our book fair starts on Monday, and so your boys and girls will be asking you for money next week. We'll continue with STAR testing for pre-K through 5th grade. The Ronald McDonald Asthma Van will be here on April 25th, and I think their final time with us will be May 9th. I received an email from them today telling me they're only going to come once in May, but that they will be here during the summer because this is a site for summer school. I'm not certain how many of you have registered your child for our Step Up summer school program, but please make sure that you have if you have not already. Kindergarten is taking a trip to the Atlanta Zoo. That's going to be their big trip. It's taking place on Thursday, April 25th. And we have a volunteer training day on April the 30th. And parents, please be mindful. If you are planning on volunteering for field day, it's important that you come to that volunteer training. We're going to have one on Tuesday, April 30th at 8 o'clock in the morning and again at 4 o'clock that evening. Ms. Harris is our parent liaison, and she will be the one administering that training to you. Without that training, you will not be able to volunteer during field day. Okay, so please make sure that you get that training. It is extremely important, and we don't want to have to turn you around. Pictures, we also have class pictures here for sale for $13. A portion of those funds actually go back to Kimberly Elementary School. So if you did not get an opportunity to buy your child's class picture, please make sure that you send in your money. If you need another permission slip or order form, please contact your child's teacher through Class Dojo, and they'll make sure that they send one of those home. That actually, oh no, that isn't it. I got a paper here about some test taking tips. So as we get closer and closer to Georgia Milestone, I want to remind our parents about some test taking tips. So the most important thing that you can tell your child is to relax and just do the best that they can. This test, the Georgia Milestone, yes, it's extremely important, but the most important thing is that your child shows us what they know and that they're comfortable in doing so. So please make sure that they relax. Also, remind them that your first choice is usually correct. Don't change your answers unless you have a good reason to do so. Oftentimes, our boys and girls second guess themselves. Don't allow them to second guess themselves. So your first choice is usually correct. The last tip I'm going to give today, and I'll give some more next week, is be aware of keywords such as all, now, always, never, only, exactly. Make sure you're reading very carefully and keeping track of those keywords, because that may tell you what you're going to have to do in that problem. So I want to thank you for taking a few minutes to join me during my weekly video bulletin. If you know of anyone that is not receiving this video bulletin or not seeing it online, please forward it to them and suggest that they contact the school office and update their contact information with their email address so that way they can get it as well. I want to make it a great day or not. The choice is yours. We are Panthers who roar, respect others, own responsibility, always safe, and ready at all times.